Us now with more are the authors of the book, those great guys who wrote Let Trump Be Trump, the inside story of his rise to the presidency. Fox News contributor David Bossie and former Trump campaign manager Lewandowski. All right, guys, the Inspector General's report, for me, it was very sad. I had seen and followed very closely for so many months all of the wrongs, all of the biases that were so obvious. And then in the end, after, this huge report, we've got, that they kept their personal biases at the door. And I don't want to spend a lot of time on this because I want to talk about the good stuff the president's doing. But David Bossie, what's your take on it all?
Well, first of all, this guy's agent Strzok, this FBI agent, needs to be fired and fired immediately. But he was involved. Let's remember, he was involved in the Hillary Clinton interview. He was involved in Cheryl Mills and Huma Abedin's interview. He was involved in Mike Flynn's interview. This is outrageous that he is the center of this. He is clearly biased, somebody who hated this president and still does to this day. It is outrageous that he's still employed by the FBI, but more importantly, did the judge who issued the FISA warrant know that he was involved? Was this man involved with leaking the Manafort information 2 years ago? This investigation been going on 2 years, August, and he was involved. 11 days later, we know that there was a leak of the Manafort information. So this is a very incestuous, very bad group within the FBI that's given them a black eye.
But we all know this, and Corey Lewandowski. I mean, what David says is nothing that isn't obvious, and yet tonight, Paul Manafort has been ordered to jail. All right, that guy didn't work for the FBI. He wasn't biased. He wasn't handling Hillary Clinton and the anti-Trump and exposing his biases. Now Manafort is going to jail when he's got a $10 million bond. How do you level this out in your mind that we've got such a great system?
Look, Judge, here's the real problem that we have. The Inspector General's report was very clear about one thing which the mainstream media refuses to cover. Hillary Clinton took classified emails, put it on an unclassified server, and those emails were hacked or at least accessible by a foreign entity. Why is there not a criminal referral for Hillary Clinton for not protecting classified information? You can, think of whatever you want about Paul Manafort, and, Paul and I aren't the best of friends, but the fact that Paul Manafort went off to jail today, when Hillary Clinton continues to walk free, when the IG says that she took classified emails, put them on an unclassified server, and it says in the report that someone accessed that server from a foreign country, foreign entity.
Yeah, remember
why is that not a criminal referral?
Well, I'm going to tell you why, okay? Because I don't think it would make a darn bit of difference, because I want to know who's going to prosecute her. But let me go now to David Bossie. Okay, we got the World Cup. The president had a great week. Kim Jong-un is agreeing to denuclearization. Obama was out there saying, I'm going to get the World Cup and I'm going to get the Olympics here. He couldn't do anything.
Look, he's had a great week. The president, it's one of the great weeks of his administration. The job numbers today is unbelievable. Lowest in 40 jobless claims. Lowest in 44 years. Our economy is humming. This president got elected because he said jobs, jobs, jobs. And he meant it through deregulation, through these tax cuts, through an entrepreneurial spirit that he has brought to the presidency. It has been a great week on the economy. It has been a great week in him dealing with North Korea. Trying to denuclearize the Korean Peninsula is something that is generationally important. And let me just say about the World Cup, the guy who used to be the head of the American World Cup said, Obama's going to be able to get this for us now that he's president. And in 2016, he said, we can't have Donald Trump because the cup will never come here. Look, again, he proves everybody wrong.
Okay, so, Corey, let's talk about those people who are all predicting nuclear war and, that the President Trump doesn't know how to negotiate. He doesn't know what he's doing. But aside from all that, I want to ask you a question. I'm going to veer off that for a second. How does this guy fly back and forth to Singapore, do all the negotiating, all the stuff that he's doing, and he's walking outside the White House today just, greeting a bunch of press people and answering every question? He's on top of his game. How does he do this?
Judge, Donald Trump is a machine, and I mean that. I've spent thousands of hours with him. He never sleeps. He just continues to work, and that's why in the first 18 months of this administration, he's been so successful. Go back and look at what he talked about. We're going to have 4% growth. They said you'll never get there. Now the Fed is saying maybe it's 4.8% because he never stops. He never gives up. He keeps fighting. He walked out and did that impromptu press conference with Fox today, and I'm sure some of the staff said, "Oh, no, sir, don't do that." Donald Trump is the best when he is Donald Trump. The book that Dave and I wrote, Let Trump Be Trump, is why he is successful, because he does things outside the norm. He stayed up for 25 hours straight on that airplane, got off the plane, and kept on working. He didn't go to bed for a week like Hillary Clinton did before every debate.
A week? She was in bed for longer than that. But he doesn't drink coffee, does he?
No coffee. Look, you know Donald Trump. It's no coffee. It is just raw adrenaline and Diet Coke, and he just keeps on going, Judge. And that's why he wears out staff, and that's why he's successful.
He just has a different gear than everybody else, including the staff, whether it was on the campaign or at the White House. This guy works 20 hours a day, 7 days a week, and that's why our economy is moving. That's why he can handle. People are wondering, how can he do so many different things every single day? It's because he never stops. He is a hardworking, incredibly smart, diligent guy who is doing an incredible job as president.
And not only that, he celebrated his birthday this week, too.
That's right.
All right, David Bossie.
Judge, look, I mean, look, Judge, you have to remember, the press never complains now that this president is not doing enough, right? They complain that they can't keep up with them. I think it's a far cry from Obama, who did nothing for 8 years.
Well, you know, when people used to talk about 24/7 news, they never really knew what it meant until Donald Trump came into the White House. All right, guys, thanks for being with us tonight.